Hi, my name is Georgina Jackson. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be talking today about something that a lot of people ask me about a lot of time, that people want to improve, and we all want to improve all the time, is sound on the trumpet and tone on the trumpet. And so I'm going to tell you a few of my thoughts and a few things I've picked up throughout the years about how to improve your sound. First of all, I think it's so important to have a good sound on the trumpet before anything else, because if you don't like what you hear, then no one else is going to like what you hear. So you have to really learn to love your own sound on the trumpet as much as you can. And one of the things to do, I think, is really to listen to lots and lots of trumpet players. Listen to all the different styles of trumpet players, and then you'll really start to fall in love with a particular couple of sounds, and they'll really speak to you. So once you've got those sounds that you absolutely love there in your head, that's kind of what you go to and what you imagine in your head before you play. And it's really good to have a sense of the sound that's going to come out of your instrument, because if you just start off, if you were baking a cake and you'd never eaten a cake, it would be quite a difficult thing to do. So it's really good to have a sound in your head that you know you want to achieve. And as time goes on, sometimes the sound in your head you want to make is your sound. It's a sound that you've played. If you've played a really good concert and you remember that sound, you remember that feeling, then that's a really good thing to hold on to in your head as well. So really have an idea of how you want to sound, and when you pick up the trumpet and approach the trumpet, have that sound in your head. Have a great, lovely, warm, full sound in your head. The second thing I really think is important, and everyone thinks it's important, is to keep everything open and relaxed. Because if you try and do anything, really, if you're not relaxed, it's not very successful. So you must really, really relax, and that you can do kind of shoulder exercises. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do neck exercises. Sometimes I do tongue exercises to try and relax that. But most of all, I just like to sit and take a big breath in, a nice big breath out, and maybe sometimes have a little yawn, because that can open everything up as well. So so you can make that R sound. I sing a lot of the time from a living, as lots of brass players do, and I do find singing before I play really, really helps, especially if you're going to sing something you're going to play. So maybe you could think about going, ah, ah. And when you start to think ah and sing ah, you notice that all the cavities open up in your head and the air kind of goes everywhere, rather than thinking ee and it's all just here. You think ah, you feel everything open up. So just kind of having that sound, thinking about ah and relaxing, and then just blowing down your trumpet. So I'm just going to blow down it, and as long as I think about putting the mouth is where they use the ah, just let your lips naturally vibrate. You don't really have to think about it that much. If you put it on. I was just thinking open and ah. And if you do want to open your sound a little bit, or kind of change your sound a little bit, there's a little exercise that Bobby Shue taught me when I was about 13. This is, you're playing a note and you can kind of open and close your aperture, this little hole here that lets the air out. You can open and close that tiny, tiny amounts to get tiny variations in your sound, and you can really play with it. Here we go. And then just letting some more air out by tiny little movements. And by doing that, you can hear when your sound gets too loud and blarty and when it gets too closed. So maybe you can have a little play with that and find the centre, find the time that you think your sound sounds the best. I'm thinking about the air. We have to take a nice big breath. I know everyone says take a nice big breath, but you do take a big breath in order for you to get the air down the trumpet. And it's not kind of down the trumpet. It's all the way around the trumpet and out of this end here, obviously. And not just out, but thinking about the air you put in going out of here and hitting the back wall. And you can think about it being a little tiny little stretch of air, or a great big massive bit of air. And sometimes I think about it as some kind of paint machine, and it colouring the whole instrument and colouring the whole room with your sound, so you can visualise the sound coming out. So you take a big breath, nice big breath, and then think about the sound. Now, if I'm going to practice things to do with sound, I would practice playing tunes really, because tunes are what music's all about, and practice playing a slow melody, a slow little 4-bar melody, and really thinking about your sound and playing it and thinking, oh, what could I improve on that? What could be better about it? And maybe thinking about, does it need more air? Does it need less air? Does it need more space for the air to get out? Do you need to be thinking just about a bigger, brighter sound? So maybe I would just play a little tiny melody, maybe something like so I might play 4 bars like that, and then think about the sound I was making, think about if you enjoyed making it, if you enjoyed listening to it, and think about how it felt, and maybe try it, maybe some different dynamics. So that's kind of having a sound in your head to listen to, thinking, maybe singing before you play, singing what you play, and maybe altering this a tiny, tiny bit just to get the right amount of air out and the sound out. I think that when you are thinking about your sound, I think it's really useful to practice long tunes and melodies, because that's the time we really get to listen to our sound. So maybe choose a little tiny nursery rhyme or a scale or anything like that, and just play it to yourself, and maybe tape it and listen back and think, oh, well, I like that about my sound. Maybe I could make that a bit better, and really spend that time analysing your sound, but always be kind to yourself. And the most important thing is to make pretty music that you want to hear, and it kind of happens naturally if you've got a good approach in your head. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back again with something else, and I hope you keep enjoying playing your trumpet. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.